Clerk Wolf, mind reading the roll?
Okay, trustee Prosser,
Here.
trustee Crowell,
Here.
trustee Sewell,
Here present.
trustee Ball,
Present.
supervisor Cox.
Here. Okay, next up is public comment. You have 5 minutes if you'd like to step to the podium, state your name and where you're from, and just to ask everybody to keep it respectful and about township business. Thank you.
My name is Doug May, homeowner, resident, Collinsville. I'd like to preface my comments by saying they are meant to address disturbing issues that I've brought before this board in the past. It doesn't require sociologists to come up with an analysis of why people feel free to launch their grievances in a manner similar to gang rivalries or heated disputes among neighbors. We only have to look at the current political landscape in our country. For over 200 years, the White House was a place of well-practiced decorum. What was once respectful communications from the president has now become a template that many Americans accept, giving them agency to spew inflammatory opinions that before Trump were withheld for private discussion. The use of disrespectful, inflammatory words that are directed at communities that some find objectionable on a federal level, judges who are labeled leftists, radical activists when their rulings don't align with Trump's goals. These words have consequences. Formerly, a president's nominee for a cabinet position, for instance, would maintain grace and respect for the congressional committee members who are vetting the appointed person, citing Pam Bondi, former Attorney General, as she was questioned during the Epstein hearing. For example, instead of answering senators' questions, she consistently lashed out in a combative tone like a bratty teenager. She sarcastically questioned the committee members' background, lobbing direct personal insults at esteemed congressmen. She drew widespread criticism for dismissing Democratic representatives as washed-up lawyers or losers. Observers characterized Trump appointees lashing out as a deliberate, norm-shattering strategy of political retribution. Critics and analysts often view this aggressive rhetoric and erratic behavior as an extension of Donald Trump's own grievances, where appointees display undying allegiance and mirror his reactive governance style. I can't attribute Ms. Crowell's well-documented, questionable, and inappropriate comments as an example of her mirroring this Trump-Bondi style, or that her actions are driven by her loyalty to Derek Cox. And I certainly will not go into character assassinations. But the interests of Collinsville Township residents should be foremost for an elected trustee, instead of building a wall of solidarity that possibly fuels her unrestrained dialogue, speaking in a fashion that displays an alarming level of disregard for her fellow citizens and the elected position in which she serves. Borrowing from a like-minded person, every resident deserves representation built on dignity and respect, regardless of where they were born, what they look like, or what language they speak at home. By all accounts, Ms. Crowell has voluntarily written public comments speaking her mind without filters, the filters that should be practiced when interacting with the Collinsville public. Having publicly shared her disrespectful opinions on social media, writing things like lazy, no good, lying, cheating thieves, and on another occasion, written for the entire world to read, apparent aggression towards another commenter that he is so full of shit. The evidence seems overwhelming that Ms. Crowell has adopted and embraced the combative style that has been normalized thanks to our president and his loyalists. Having said that, no reasonable person would expect public servants to conduct themselves like
30 seconds.
Mother Teresa. The fact is, a passion for public policy issues are often the driving force behind someone giving their time and energy to run for elected office. But that passion should include guardrails. Decorum refers to behavior that is socially correct, polite, and in good taste. Casting unsavory aspersions is unbecoming whether it originates from a national leader or a Collinsville Township trustee. Conducting ourselves in a collegial manner shouldn't be considered old-fashioned. This might sound a little simplistic or Pollyanna, but the community has witnessed enough conflict within this room. Can we try a little harder just to get along? Service to the community would be more rewarding for everyone if we would all adhere to these principles of decorum.
If you could wrap it up.
Saving lashing out for those private places in the world. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Rachel, and I decided to come up here to
I'm
speak.
sorry, I can't hear you.
Rachel?
Yes, my name is Rachel
I didn't get your last name.
Gossett, and I'm a longtime Collinsville resident. I've decided to come up here to speak because I really can't sit to the side watching egregious comments be made online. So while we see Ms. Crowell, you continue to make and insist that people are twisting your words. However, the internet is forever, and it tells a little bit of a different story. When people disagree with you, you do not agree, or you don't argue. You pass the line of decency each time. You question whether they belong here. You question whether they are real Americans. You even tell people to go home. Are you aware that you are an elected official? So now in private messages, your critics are labeled a lynch mob. Your words, not mine. You clearly don't have a clue what the weight of such verbiage carries. Given that the history in East St. Louis, where in 1917, thousands of white racists rushed into black neighborhoods and burning, shooting, and lynching black Americans. You can claim your terminology isn't about race, but those words aren't a part of my daily terminology. So, to add, we are in 2026, not 1926. So while reading through these online interactions, I noticed a trend. It seems to be you who repeatedly brings up nationality, immigration, and ethnicity as a response to throw at people. It's you who tells people they don't belong here. It's you who says an entire group of people here take advantage of our country. So take advantage of what? We have a documented pedophile in our office. Our homelessness rates are at a record high, and I'm sure we see them in the streets here. Inflation is also rising again, and I don't know about you, but I'm tired of paying a damn arm and a leg for our groceries. So there's not really anything to be taking advantage of. So when you portray yourself as a victim, something you got from Mr. Cox, sorry, understand that you are again an elected official and subject to criticism. Not everyone who disagrees with you is a paid protester or an immigrant. Not everybody who calls you out the blatant prejudice statements is plotting against you. At some point, not every disagreement can be listed as a plot against you. You're not the victim, and as a white woman, you're certainly not the victim of a lynching mob. This is the critical feedback, back to why I'm speaking to you. Now, it's concerning to me that you are an elected official, because the people you accuse, insult, and dismiss are not online strangers in another state. They are members of our community, the same community you were elected to serve. You should be leading by example. So you are not showing what leadership looks like, you are showing what ignorance looks like. Education does go a long way. So from my grandma, a quote she said, "There is no pill to fix stupid." And with that, I close out.
And when you introduce yourself, if you could say where you're from. that'd be helpful.
Collinsville.
Right, but just your, if you live in the Collinsville Township or whatnot.
Yeah, I do. Off of West Country.
Okay.
Good evening, my name is Katerina Engel and I'm a Collinsville resident. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. Before I begin, I want to be clear about what tonight is and what it is not. This is not a personal attack. This is not a mob. This is a resident standing at a public microphone reading an elected official's own words back to her. If that feels like an attack, the discomfort belongs to the words, not to me for repeating them. Collinsville Township trustee Margot Crowell has used public community forums to repeatedly demean, dehumanize, and discriminate against members of this community. Everything I'm about to share has been documented. Here's what trustee Crowell has publicly said and done. Told a U.S. citizen to go home, traitor, leave, based on his name and ethnicity. She also asked the same U.S. citizen publicly, careful, do you have an ID to make you an American citizen? Publicly stated it is in immigrants' DNA to enslave people. Told a Latino resident who was born and raised in the United States that she does not talk like an American. Accused community members of being foreign agents and traitors without a single shred of evidence. Stated that immigrants come to America to, quote, take it over, and destroy the people who have built it, end quote. Spread anti-Muslim stereotypes claiming Muslim men keep multiple wives in black sheets so they can't see that they marry children, that they are lazy and exploitative. This is open religious bigotry from a sitting elected official. Describe women receiving food stamps as, quote, uneducated mothers who trade their food stamps for fingernails, eyelashes, and marijuana, and defended Township Supervisor Cox's comparison of general assistance recipients to wild animals by stating, quote, it is a perfect analogy for the animal kingdom, end quote. These are your neighbors she is talking about. Seniors on fixed incomes, families between jobs, people with disabilities, workers whose wages don't stretch far enough. Accused a U.S. veteran of grooming children, stating publicly, I bet you would like your day with some little children, and asked him, are you trying to groom children? With zero evidence. Threatened to file background checks on at least 4 community members, including my own family. Falsely accused concerned community members, including myself, of being, quote, belligerent and violent, end quote, at public meetings to discredit and silence them. Claimed that I was rallying a, quote, lynch mob, quote, against her when all I did was shine light on her own statements. Out of all the words in the dictionary, she chose a racially charged term and then told me not to make everything about race. This is a documented pattern of racism, religious bigotry, and contempt for the very residents this trustee was elected to serve. And I want to be very direct with everyone on this board. I'm not only speaking to Trustee Crowell tonight, I'm speaking to all of you. Silence is a choice. Indifference is a choice. If leadership decides not to care, then this board must decide whether this is the standard Collinsville Township will be known for. Therefore, I'm calling on Trustee Margot Crowell to resign immediately. The residents of Collinsville, all of them, regardless of where they were born, what language they speak, what faith they practice, or how they receive assistance, deserve representatives who serve with dignity, fairness, and respect. Trustee Crowell has demonstrated repeatedly that she is unwilling or unable to meet that standard. Resignation is not a punishment, it is accountability, it is the minimum this community is owed. Thank you.
Rachel Dye, Collinsville Township. Good evening to all. Last month I was unable to attend and Kate read my comments, so thank you for that. I was in the hospital, been real sick. No trustee responded. Tonight I'm asking board members to address the following questions directly, so I'd like each board member to answer what is true for them. 1, the supervisor has publicly stated that people who are economically disadvantaged are like animals and will keep coming back the more you feed them, and has repeated similar sentiments online. Just simple, do you agree with those views? The supervisor has already made his position clear. I'm asking each trustee to answer individually. 2, how can a public official fairly make decisions about programs serving people in poverty if they believe those individuals are irresponsible, undeserving, or less worthy of assistance than others? Question number 3, how can a leader effectively represent all constituents if they embrace false narratives or express views that cause racial, ethnic, or religious harm? Those are my 2 questions. These questions matter because decisions about public services affect real people, seniors, veterans, working families. This will be a lot of stuff lines with Kate's, which is odd because we did not practice that. People with disabilities and children whose opportunities are shaped by circumstances beyond their control. Systematic factors also play a real role in those outcomes and cannot be ignored. I'd like to address comments made by Trustee Crowell. While you may not view the comments you often share online as racist, the impact and the research says otherwise. Repeated remarks about Mexicans, people who follow Islam, and people living in poverty reinforce harmful stereotypes and diminish human dignity. All humans, but especially public officials who hold power and position, have a responsibility to approach these conversations with care, curiosity, and accountability. When harmful views are repeatedly defended instead of examined, trust in public leadership erodes. Inevitably, those views also inform decision-making. It's not a personal attack, and it sure as heck isn't political. Too often, criticism of harmful rhetoric is dismissed as extreme or we're troublemakers in the township. We hear that language often, pretty much every meeting. However, framing like this avoids the real issue. whether the beliefs and statements of public officials align with their responsibility to serve every resident fairly and respectfully. Let's be clear. You cannot claim care, compassion, and responsibility while routinely tearing down the very people affected by your decisions. Also, those who raise concerns about dehumanizing rhetoric are not advancing some agenda. They are raising questions about basic accountability and human decency, and I think we all should care about those two things. To close, I want to offer 2 examples of what happens when stereotypes or contradictory beliefs replace evidence in decision-making. These contradictions are at the heart of the matter when we call it those who care, yet do not understand the moral contradictions at the center of their beliefs. They may also not understand or want to understand the correlation between their stated values and actual real-world outcomes. 2 examples. 1, a person says they care about helping poor families and believe everyone deserves opportunity, yet blame poverty primarily on laziness and poor choices. In doing so, they overlook the impact, and this is not all inclusive, of low wages, housing costs, unequal schools, child care barriers, healthcare access, discrimination, and other historical and systematic factors that affect opportunity. They may also underestimate how family support, education, stable communities, social networks, and other advantages, again, not all inclusive, contributed to their own success. They embrace the myth of meritocracy fully and without self-awareness. If you don't know what that is, go ahead and look it up. 2, another example. Someone may express concern for taxpayers while supporting decisions that increase long-term costs through reduced services, delayed assistance, loss of experienced employees and institutional knowledge, as well as reduction in trust. Greater financial and social costs can occur over time, resulting in harm to those they claim to serve. These contradictions are not abstract, and many of the foundational beliefs that drive these contradictions have been reflected at times in township discussions and decisions or in online comments by board members. Poverty is not a character flaw. Differences in faith, skin color, culture, or how one loves is not a justification for diminished dignity. When decisions are influenced by dehumanizing beliefs, which often hold consequential contradictions, a conflict emerges between personal opinion and public duty. The public deserves officials who care for all and do not embrace oppressive frameworks and ways of thinking. Lastly, due to repeated and willful expressions of racism and dehumanizing language, and the repeated decision to not confront these beliefs in any way, I'm asking that Trustee Crow resign immediately. Her words and behavior demonstrate that she is incapable at this time of serving all within our community objectively and without bias. We as a community deserve better. Thank you.
Anybody else?
My name's Jeannie Lomax, and I live here in the township. I came to the April meeting and addressed an issue at the assessor's office that is very troubling. Looking into this information, I had laid it all out to the trustees of what was going on. We've got an employee that has since that time has retired, but for a 2.5-year period between August of 2023 to January of 2026, she was not present in the office. FOIA revealed that there were no emails, communication that were work-related, either sent or received by this employee. So my question is, I asked you guys all to do an investigation. Has anybody talked to Pete Paletti to find out about this employee and what was going on? She was being paid $5,148 as a monthly salary. Monthly health insurance was $949, some sweet insurance. Yearly health deductible paid for by the taxpayers. I would say paid for by the assessor's office, paid for by the township, but anything that is governmental is paid for by the taxpayers, so paid for by the taxpayers. comes to a total of $189,910. That is, I mean, I wanna know, I went to Pete's office on Friday, to see if he was there, see if I could have a conversation with him. He wasn't there. Matter of fact, when I arrived at the office, there was a sign on the door saying that the offices were closed and the door was locked. They were closed because, for the horseradish festival. I called Derek. Derek said, no, my office is open. The door should be unlocked. He came out, unlocked the door, took the note off the front of the door. Actually, there was one staff member over at the assessor's office. I asked her if Pete was there. No, he's not there. I told her I would like to set up a time to come in and talk to him. I've got some questions that I'd like to have answered, and she said that she would pass this on to him. That was Friday. It's Wednesday. I haven't heard anything from him. I don't really expect to. So I asked where the other staff members were. If we have four full-time staff members, is that what we have at the assessor's office? Four full-time staff members. So, they were at the horseradish festival. I said, are they being paid for this? And, the staffer that was there said that they were taking a vacation day. So, I hope that that's the case. I've requested from Pete that I would like to have some sort of evidence that shows proof of work completed by this employee for a 2.5-year period. If there's no emails, here's the statement of duties for a deputy assessor, measure and photograph property and associated improvements as well as necessary field work, value and place assessments on various types of properties, input data, wait on customers, provide information to other governmental agencies. Here's a governmental agency that I did receive an email when I did a FOIA to request emails. This came from MadisonCountyIllinois.gov. The subject matter was, I'm not gonna say the employee's name, but the employee's name, does she still work for you gals? So, we've got Madison County that she's supposed to be inputting data to is asking if she even works there anymore, because there's crickets in the way of emails. The collective bargaining agreement, I asked for a copy of this. And on here, hours worked, Article 4 on here, Section 4, workday week. Section 6.02, all employees covered by this agreement shall work 8 consecutive hours per day and 5 consecutive days per week. The normal workday for the Collinsville Township Assessor's Office employees shall be from 8:30 to 4:30. Talks about their breaks. Work week, a normal work week is defined as a work week consisting of not less than 40 hours a week. My question to Pete, at one point he had 7 employees. Well, we're gonna say 6 because one was never, we already knew, one was not showing up for work. Were they there 8 hours a day, 5 days a week? Because the taxpayers are paying for this. You're not gonna get this from the private sector. So I have questions here. I said that if he's not willing to contact me, this will serve as a FOIA, and I'd like to have these questions answered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. There is a spot on our agenda, and that I don't think that is on any other agenda in any other municipality that the board tries to respond to your comments. When we first started here, let me just say, we were in a room, nobody knew when we were meeting, we had no bills, we have no nothing. This is the most transparent board, and we try to do our best to answer all comments the best we can. With that said, that I know for a fact, personally, that the internet is nasty, that you can take one little piece of this and one little piece of that and construe it, and it's nasty on both sides. And so, but I will say that just as you guys have a First Amendment to say whatever nasty things you want, because I've had it dealt at me from you, and about my sexuality, okay, and things. I have had that. And so what I'm saying is that, you know, and Kate, you're not from Collinsville Township. You don't live in the township. I just want you to know that. When people hear this, when you can come from anywhere and say whatever you want. We're here to try to do the best for the taxpayers, all right? And this happens not only at this meeting, but I saw it on the Collinsville Daily News that the same exact people are at the library board meeting saying that it's an unsafe space. Well, these people sitting around the table, and me and the folks on the library board that don't even get paid, they're not employees. If it's an unsafe place, then maybe we should go to whoever the director is and talk to the director and find out why it's unsafe to be in there. If we're not doing something, say, in general assistance, all right, maybe we should start demanding the general assistants step it up. The employee, the manager. My point is, and that's what I have been doing, and trying to get as much out of general assistance as we can. It is a misnomer, however you want to say it, that this township, we hear it meeting after meeting. And last meeting we found out we get no praise for this. We're the only municipality that has been helping, say like HHH, the after school to summer program for the needy. Gave $4,000. Okay? We do food boxes out of here. We serve sometimes 40 meals a day for free in this senior center. Okay? I can go on and on and on, but it doesn't fall under the umbrella of general assistance. General assistance is very specific. They say they want me to help the homeless. Guess what? You have to live in the Collinsville Township. For me to take your money, Doug, all right, I can't give it to anybody that just strolls through. That's against the law. So when you guys are asking me to do something, I was elected to uphold the law. And that's what I'm doing, because I'm the gatekeeper for your tax dollars. And if I gave it to every person that just walked in the door, guess what? We'd be out of money. And we wouldn't get it to the people who need it the most. And so I just want to say, I want all the board members, I've done it for myself, everything. We do. I want everybody's temperature to calm down. I want us all we live, in my opinion, the best country in the world. And if anybody should be resigning, it should be people who don't come to work, okay? They get a big salary for decades, don't come to work. They have total disregard to your answer. He did come into my office today. First time I've seen him in months.
He's not here tonight.
No, I asked him to come. In email, I asked the assessor to be here so we could ask him some questions, okay? Because you guys would understand this. Does anybody have a job that's getting paid great money and never has to come to work? No accountability? How is this okay? But nobody asked for his resignation. Nobody. That's ridiculous. It's hypocritical. Yep. And so my point is that I asked him about these few things, and he couldn't give me an answer. I said, there's a FOIA out. He says he's working on it. Meanwhile, I reached out to the county, and this is part of that. You asked what I've been doing, okay? We've been looking at assessments done by the assessors. Now, think about this, and I'm going to talk more about the assessments during my supervisor's comments, okay? But nobody will think that if you're assessing your own house, that you're going to over-assess and spend more money, or you're going to say your property assessment's higher. No, it's only going to be the opposite. So who assesses the assessors? Who assesses their properties? Who assesses their family's properties? This is a huge conflict. And I've been talking to the county about it, and I am calling for a law or an ordinance to be passed, not just for this township, but for every township. If you're an assessor, if you're a deputy assessor, Just like we have to fill out economic interest forms when we're elected, you should say, here's my properties that I own, and somebody else assesses them. Because right now, what I'm seeing is gross. And it's gonna be looked into. And it's been going on for too long. And it's not just for Collinsville, this is for everybody. And that will take away the even urge to misassess your own property. Because nobody's gonna turn yourself in. You think you're gonna go to the county and say, hey, my property is too low. No, you're not gonna turn yourself in. So anyway, anybody else?
I did look at this, we talked about it before, Jeannie, on they do have a time card now. I don't know who exactly is the one's filling up, it's Cheryl, but they do have time cards there that you could possibly, if you need a FOIA vet, or do what you need to do and find out what's going on, but they do have time cards. I know we talked about a punch card, but legally we, can't force anybody to do that part of it, but supposedly they have their own time cards, so that's something that if she needs to, you can look into.
And I have, and I briefly talked to the attorneys about this before, but we spent money on cameras in all of with our new IT. And just today, and Don can attest to this, the manager came over and we had a great conversation. I'm trying to open up the doors between the two offices. This is not personal against anybody and what's going on, she understood. But the cameras in their office are covered up again. So it's like, it's ridiculous. And so anyway, we'll figure that out on that. But it's like, we're not trying to hide anything. This is for safety. If something happens in the office or whatnot, you have to have those cameras. But right now they don't. They're covered up again with duct tape. So anyway, anybody else?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I would like to address this 20 minutes, 25 minutes of this.
Okay.
And because it's you that had addressed me, I would like to personally address you and give you an answer.
Point of order.
Yeah, hold on one second. We're supposed to be
It said we're
addressing the
supposed
board,
to be
correct?
responding.
Just respond to the board.
Generally to the.
Just respond to the comment. I guess, is that what you're doing? Well, what we're trying to do is,
I'm trying to respond to the people that asked.
correct, it does say response.
It says response, so I'm trying to respond to them.
Point of order.
No, hey, I got it under control.
Do you?
Hey, Kate, you're on warning.
That was me.
Okay,
actually.
you're on warning then.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I guess I'm confused what.
Well, it's
Yeah, I don't know
response.
why we could just, address it from there, or,
Yeah, just, you can address it from here. Yeah, you're good.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I don't think we need
And the reason this is up for, so when,
I think you're responding to
It's-
someone's comment, responding to your comment.
yeah. It's just, you're supposed to address the board, we have bylaws in place for this, and in the bylaws, it is suggested that you're supposed to be from the Collinsville Township when you're making comments. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so first let me all remind you that this is a public forum where we are all discussing things online. So you are all welcome to say whatever you want. There was a small word that was thrown out, a cuss word that I supposedly said. Believe me, I get a lot. There's so many more words on that site besides what I'm saying. Besides what I say, I really hold my tongue. And again, we all have First Amendment rights, so let me remind you all of that. When I took this position, it did not give you all the right to badger me and attack me. Yet at the same time, anything or any statement that I say is turned around, is changed. The conversation was not explained, it was only what I had to say. She never said what was said to me or what I proposed. What was proposed on that site was a video of a police, an arrest of people from 2015, and then they were arrested again and just recently. And what it had to do with was people delivering babies in our country. And it blew up. It blew up because I was racist, and it was people that were here on maternity vacations, their third trimesters on purpose. These were people that were doing illegal actions, and I posted it and said, how do we feel about this? This was illegal. They were being arrested for this, okay? Now, and then after that, I was just constantly attacked. Now, you say that I'm racist, that I go against all these different, I don't know who these people are, the majority of the time. They're Hedgehog Piggy, and some kind of crazy name. I have no idea what color they are or what race they are. I mean, I'm arguing with, I don't even know who these people are. So there's a point for you. And I contacted Kat and asked her to sit down with me privately. And if she would bring Rachel as well, because God forbid, I would not want them to feel that they were going to be attacked. Asked them to pick the place and leave their phones behind. And let's discuss like adults of what this is about, okay? And she presented words, and I said, where are the questions from these words that you're accusing me of saying? What about the people and what they were asking me? You just posted what I said, Kate. You never said what people were saying to me.
Yeah, you can pull it up, it's still gonna be the same
All right.
responses.
Hey, she didn't talk while you were speaking.
And then I asked where and who these people are. Who are these people? I don't know who they are. I'm responding to fake profiles. Now, there was a private conversation between Kate and I. And so in response to mine, Kate went out and got my daughter, my adult daughter, who went to California, and she was very successful, but fell into drug addiction. Kate felt the need to post every criminal, every arrest, and said, look at Margot's methed up daughter. Look at this methed up daughter that our trustee has. This woman that stands for people, she protects everyone. Yet she does something so heinous that I could take her to court being liable. I've already talked to attorneys. But I'm supposed to act like a lady. I'm supposed to not say a word or discuss anything.
That doesn't excuse you for being a freaking racist.
All right,
Okay,
ma'am, you can
now
leave.
next, I will address your point. But of course you're leaving, because you can't take it. In regard to racism,
By the way, I apologize to her.
I told Kate, I said, Kate, just bring your lynch mob. If you have to, bring everybody that's gonna accost me publicly. Do what you need to do, because no matter what I say, you will twist it and turn it, okay? And she responded 3 days later with, lynch mob? Lynch mob, you are racist. And I said, I'm racist because I said lynch mob? I said, I don't understand what you're talking about, because and I have all these you're welcome to see.
Yeah.
I said, Kate,
Rachel, you're on warning.
my experience with lynch mob is the cowboys that we used to watch at home with my dad. And they would come after a man who was untrustworthy or stole a horse. The other one was when they chased a Frankenstein monster down with torches to hang him up on to attack him. What are you talking about? She wrote me a 2-page story about how Black Americans were abused and lynched in this country. It was the farthest from what I was thinking, which I responded, absolutely not. That was not the first incidences of lynching. Why are you doing this? And why do you insist on saying whatever you want, destroy me in every way? And then I will tell you something else. In regard to these young people that I'm talking about, they are my own extended family. I sit in groups and rooms of people from the poorest to the wealthiest who are stealing from this country. And yes, she was angry because she couldn't get her fingernails done because they took her children from her and she wasn't getting her check so she could buy weed and buy a new bong for the backyard. So if you're trying to tell me that there are people that do not abuse the system, there is no one that ever abuses any of their assistance, then you are sorely uneducated in this situation. And oh my gosh, I've called you. Here, let's use this word, ignorant. If I help a mechanic work on his vehicle and I don't have a clue about how to do that because I'm not a mechanic, that makes me ignorant to mechanic. Some of this stuff that you ladies bring up is ignorance of the social realm of this community. And in this office and this position as a trustee, I do not pick and choose who gets a check, who gets welfare or anything else. I am here to audit what the people who run this township do. I'm here to look at their books, and I'm here to make sure that they're doing due diligence to serve this community. Thank you.
All right. I think we can move on now to, and
no,
I just-
I will not resign.
yeah. I just wish that we could just, I'm gonna explain, I hope you guys stick around and wanna listen. I'm gonna explain the tax bill that actually matters to 99% of the people that pay for this. The stuff that's going on in the world out there, we can't control. So anyway, old business, town budget, road budget was submitted to the county for our clerk. That was the earliest that has ever been done. So good job, board. Good job, Linda. And now to new business, authorization of change in salary for the township office manager. I gave a little rundown to the trustees. What it is our office manager, by the law actually, is the only employee that is not in the union, okay? And so his salary is not set by the union. And that's designed, and you guys can understand that. Each individual has gotten raises every single year. He's been employed since 2023. He has not received a single raise. He also doesn't take township health insurance, which saves the taxpayers quite a bit of money every year. He's a good employee, and I think that he deserves a raise. And while others have gotten 5%, and sometimes in the assessor's office 20% raises lately, a 5% raise from $56,000 to $58,800. Is there any questions on that?
No, I will say that I worked many places, and this is not an uncommon thing to do. It happens a lot of places. And I motion that we give Don this change in pay.
Okay.
Can you speak up?
All right. Any other questions or
on?
comments? Or?
Can
Yeah,
you
I can
repeat
turn it on
or
too.
have somebody
Yeah.
summarize? That was hard to hear.
Yeah, let me turn it on.
Thank you.
It's here, I can hear it there.
Can you hear?
That's.
Yeah, gotta speak right into it.
Any other questions or concerns? Anything?
There hasn't been a second.
No.
Awesome.
Okay. Second. Any questions or concerns? Or
Yeah, I have a couple comments.
sure.
This is nothing personal against Don. I think he deserves a raise. Probably should been given an opportunity every year on his hire date for a merit raise. Not sure why that hasn't happened, but it's very hypocritical of our supervisor to sit here and ask us for more money for the office staff when just 1 month ago you're asking us to defund our general assistance caseworker and make that job part-time. I'm willing to vote yes on this if you go on the record and present us with a revised budget reinstating the caseworker's full salary and do not put that position as a part-time.
Okay. So here's the deal. A lot of people don't understand. Yeah, there's a motion in a second, so we can discuss. I'm not gonna shut it down just like I didn't shut down the HHH thing. So a lot of people don't understand. General assistance is its own levy, and its own budget. It has its own pocket of money, okay? Right now, that money is running out because all of the money is going to a salary, all right? We do a lot of other things that go to general assistance, okay? But it doesn't fall under that umbrella. We are doing a study right now, Don, Lori, and I've invited, just so you know, I invited her to the meeting and to show me in ways that we can possibly get more action with the general assistance, okay? And so far, she doesn't want to, she says what she says is that everything is great, okay? That's the emails, and Don's doing a time study because I can tell you that my staff wants her to stay. Of course, I want her to stay. She's staying. It would just be a part-time position. It's not getting rid of or letting anybody go. My point is this, is that you guys got to remember that the money that we're spending on the salary is less money that we can give for general assistance.
Yes,
Think
but
about that.
Let's remember,
so
though,
think
that
about
you're the
that.
one
So
moved
the answer
salary
is
out
no.
of
The answer is no. It's a different fund. It is that you can vote no. That's fine. The answer is no. The answer at this moment is no. That's my answer. If you don't like it, I understand.
No,
you voted no against the budgets, the levies, all of it. Okay, which includes giving to the HHH, which includes giving to the food pantries. You voted no. My point is this: is that where does that money come from? It comes from the budget. My point is this: I told you at last meeting that I am open to coming to the board and asking to amend the budget. If in August we see that we need this as a full-time position and that we're not wasting tax dollars. And if that is the case, I will come back to you. I'm not going to make that promise now, and that has nothing to do with a person in a different budget line who's not in the union and has not had a raise.
Well, that sits on you for not giving him the opportunity for a raise on his hire dates.
Him and I we're fine.
Well, I'm just saying, it sits on you for not giving him a raise.
No, he understands that I'm always trying to do the best for the taxpayers.
Let's not also forget that you're the one that moved our caseworker salary into the GA instead of the town.
And let's not forget, that was because of you accusing me, all right, that we weren't spending enough in general assistance. That was you guys saying that we're not spending enough. So I said, okay, we'll do what the other townships do. And all they do, you look back at 2016 and before me, when Terry Allen had his granddaughter working in there making $70-something thousand a year, okay, and not giving any more money than what we're doing now to actually assist people. It was all going to an employee, all right? And so I decided to change that until you guys said, well, you're not spending enough money. So I said, okay, I'll show you. So then, when we put that position into general assistance, all right, that position is supposed to only do, because it's a different levy and a different budget, that is only supposed to do what falls under that umbrella, general assistance. And there's not the work. So we got through the whole year with Don and Tara, 2 employees. I don't want to, but 2 employees doing the work, all right? We got through that. My job, the way I see it, is to save, and I know you agree with this, is to save taxpayers money, and I'm going to get to that. So that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make general assistance great, and I'm trying to save taxpayers money.
Well, you're not making general assistance great by limiting the time our caseworker has.
That's not true.
Yes.
Let me give you an example. I disagree, but let me give you an example. California can sit there and say, since we're talking about everything instead of just the township, we care about homeless, so we're going to spend $56 billion more, and homeless got worse. Okay? So it doesn't mean just because I'm cutting back and saving money to help people doesn't mean that, oh, no, he's not trying to help people. I'm actually trying to help people in a different way.
This is the only job in the township that's constitutionally embedded.
And we are doing it. And we
could do it better if you would.
I disagree. You want me to spend more money?
No, we could do it better if you would take as much time with general assistance as you do the senior center.
I do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, oh, yes, I do. And let me tell you, And let me tell you, there is much, I'm not gonna argue, but anyway.
I'm not arguing,
you're-
it's a
just
straight
vote
fact.
no, just vote no. No, the fact is that I'm here every day and you're coming at me, but you got a guy up there who hasn't showed up in 50 years and you ain't got a problem. You ain't got a problem with a person
Yes,
who
I
hasn't
have.
come to
I've had
work in
plenty-
3 years.
I've had plenty of time and
So
plenty
let's
of
vote.
problems.
Roll call.
Isn't there any more discussion?
I just have one question
Yeah.
on that, and I know we're getting off track.
Yeah.
So can she, or can you, like at the city, we have different, titles.
Mhm.
So could she have a title like under Don, or sorry, the other two employees, and have a person or one of them to do that part-time? So in other words, if they're going to spend so much time, say your hours are going to be spent, like when we have to separate the street waters, you know,
Correct.
if somebody's working somewhere else, just a thought here.
Right.
So if I send guys to the wastewater or to the water department, they're gonna be coming out of their budget. So even though they're still being paid underneath that, the money was coming budget. Could you put that employee in your normal budget, and then when that person has to do that work, she say, hey, I've got 8 hours this week
Right.
for part-time. Keep her as a full-time employee and use her also that's why you're not hiring more people.
Well, let me ask you this, and this is just, straightforward. So, if last year, all right, we had 2 people do the job of lie heap and everything in the office, okay, and they did a great job.
But did they need help?
Hold on, all right. What I'm saying is, if we had 2 people do that,
Right.
all right, this is a question, it's not in, so it's a question. Then why are you saying now we need to add an additional staff member to do the job that 2 people did last year, but now we need 3? That's not, the way I see it is, it is my duty, and I think I'll explain this a little bit on the assessments. It is my duty to get the very most out of be efficient. Everybody just got their tax bill, okay? If every unit of government would do what this unit of government would do, our tax bills would be a lot less. It would be easy for me to do what you're saying. You know what? It would be easy. Let's hire 5 more people. Let's hire 5 more people, and then we'll really do good, right? But who's paying? They're paying.
I get that.
And so all I ask my manager and the general assistance manager, all right, I said, let's figure this out over the next 3 months. Nobody even does that. When there is a budget cut or something like that, you're let go on the spot. I'm trying to make this work, okay? And I'm trying to figure out what we can do to prove to the citizens that this is absolutely necessary. But if there's no proof, there's no proof. I'm asking general assistants, come in. Tell me if we're doing everything we can. What can we do better? All of it.
You can write your own general assistance rules.
What's that?
You can write your own general
Correct.
assistant rules.
But I'm not breaking the law with, if you
No,
listen,
that's-
if you don't live in this township,
asking
I
you to
ain't
break
giving
the
them
law.
money. All right? And so that's just how it is. But Don is a separate issue. I'm happy to discuss, possibly figuring out how to add an additional staff member.
Well,
If that's what the public, I feel, needs, then that's what I will do.
She has helped the other 2, though, I mean, I'm not there every day, but
Mhm.
she has helped, right,
Sure,
the other 2.
sure.
So she is there helping.
It's not going to be easier, I can tell you that.
Well, I don't.
It's not gonna be
I'm
easy.
I'm,
But it's not
I'm
easier on
doing your
anybody.
job. I'm not trying
Yeah,
to tell you how to
I
do your
understand.
job. I'm just thinking how we would have to do in the city when we need more guys somewhere
Correct.
else or have to do something, they split it up.
Right,
And
right.
then that pay comes out. That's
Yeah,
all.
no,
It's a suggestion.
Quiet in the crowd, please.
I totally get it. So, anyway, if we could have a roll call on that?
Trustee Sewell.
Yes.
Trustee Ball.
Oh, I can't do it, sorry.
Hey, Ashley, you're on morning.
Trustee Prosser.
Yes.
Trustee Crowe.
Yes.
Supervisor Cox.
Yes. So 4-1 vote pass. Okay. So next is appointment of Township Clerk Linda Wolf as FOIA officer.
Linda are you gonna be mad at me if I motion that you be made?
I don't believe that we did. I think we made you FOIA officer for a little bit, and then, yeah.
Yeah, we said-
we did.
She just had her training.
Yeah, we said for 2 months, and this
Yeah.
would be the.
Motion.
Okay,
Yeah, sorry, I had a brain.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
and second, all right.
I thought Clint motioned it.
Yeah, Mitch, and then
I'll
second.
second you.
Yeah. Okay, any other discussion? If not, roll call.
Okay, Trustee Ball,
Yes.
trustee Sewell,
Yes.
trustee Prosser,
Yes.
trustee Crowell,
Yes.
supervisor Cox.
Yes.
Why is it that I touch this microphone, but it doesn't do my?
Appointment of Township Clerk Linda Wolf as Ethics Advisor.
Uh-oh,
Hmm.
Sure you want that?
gonna be busy. Motion to approve.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all right, if any questions, roll call. No questions, roll call.
Trustee Prosser,
Yes.
trustee Crowell,
Yes.
trustee Sewell,
Yes.
trustee Ball,
Yes.
supervisor Cox.
Yes. Okay, for the consent agenda, we're approving items A through F, which is the regular minutes, the budget minutes, the assessor's report, township report, the clerk's report, and my report. And just so everybody knows, we have all the bills, and I know my supervisor's report is available. It's a lot, you should check it out. A lot of stuff that people don't even hear in the meetings, what goes on month to month at the township.
Motion to approve consent agenda A through F.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all right, roll call.
Trustee Sewell,
Yes.
trustee Prosser,
Yes.
trustee Crowell,
Yes.
trustee Ball,
Yes.
supervisor Cox.
Yes. Okay, so approval of bills actually does have GA first, so that's fine.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So approval of bills, road and bridge was $147,000, $280,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, 147,
28051. And,
yeah, we'll do one at a time. And then we can circle back to GA. So anyway, road and bridge,
sorry.
147, 280, that's in their general.
and they had, road and bridge equipment was $55,983.15.
Okay.
And then
No, yeah, and then,
the town fund.
no, hold on one second, we'll do them, so, we have a motion on that,
Yes, I'll make a motion.
okay?
I'll second it.
Okay, if any questions, roll call?
Who seconded it? I'm sorry.
Brad?
Okay. Trustee Prosser,
Yes.
trustee Crowell,
Yes.
trustee Sewell,
Yeah.
trustee Ball,
Yes.
supervisor Cox.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And then
Town fund.
the town fund was a total of $86,276.48.
Motion that we approve those bills.
I'll second.
Okay,
All right, roll call.
yeah, roll call?
Okay, trustee Prosser,
Yes.
trustee Crowell,
Yes.
trustee Ball,
Yes.
trustee Sewell,
Yes.
supervisor Cox.
Yes.
And then, the senior center, building and lunch was $7,052.89.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, no questions, roll call?
Trustee Ball,
Yes.
trustee Sewell,
Yes.
trustee Prosser,
Yes.
trustee Crowell,
Yes.
supervisor Cox.
Yes.
Okay, and then general assistance was $5,568.80.
I motion that we approve those bills.
And I will second.
Okay. All right, roll call?
Trustee Prosser,
Yes.
trustee Crowell,
Yes.
trustee Ball,
Yes.
trustee Sewell,
Yes.
supervisor Cox.
Yes. Okay, good job. Reports by officers, Kathy couldn't make it tonight. I believe the assessors put their, the report in. Move to trustees.
I got that.
I'm good tonight.
Okay, Mike, Margo? Good?
I'm tired.
Okay. Senior Center, I will just read a little quick letter because again, I have a feeling, because I was told by Pete today too, that again, disparaging things about the Senior Center, people don't realize until you come in here what actually goes on and the good that it does. To me, it is actually even, it's the most incredible thing, because these are taxpayers and they've worked their whole life, and there's no programs out there for them. They're just forgotten because they've worked their whole life, and this is a place where they can come in, have a meal, have friendships, and enjoy things. So we had a sock hop just here last Saturday, and my employees and we were here, again, volunteering our time on a Saturday. This was one letter we received. Dear staff, I can't possibly find the words to express the joy you brought to my partner and myself Saturday at the sock hop. I have never smiled and laughed so much in years. We are already looking forward to the second annual sock hop. We encourage our friends to attend. We expected to be dancing to a DJ, that's all. When we experienced the fabulous, unexpected buffet with homemade prepared food and desserts, we were in awe. Having done such things like this, I realized how much effort and work goes into such events. Bowser, he was the band part of it, was the highlight of the entertainment for us. Unbelievable. The DJ was great and kept things lively. Imagine, we danced to Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley. We are regulars on the Thursday dances. If I can help in any way next year, let me know. There's another one. It says similar things, but it basically says it brought them back to when they were a kid in high school and stuff. So it's incredible stuff that goes on here. And I do take it personally when it is diminished, and because somebody has a different letter in front of their name than you, and I don't like it, because this is not political in here, and my staff knows that. And this is about making this a place that everybody feels comfortable and happy, and this is the happiest place. If you ever come in here, just check it out. You'll be amazed. So I'm proud of my staff, and I thank them for all they do. Clerk Wolf, do you have anything on your correspondence?
I just got back from a management conference at U of I. They selected 30 people across the state, and I got selected to go, and every level of government was represented, and I learned a lot. My head's swimming. I finished my FOIA training, and I'm still learning. There's a lot to learn. Jim did a lot.
Thank you for serving.
So thank you
Yes.
for your patience.
No regrets?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Hasn't sunk in yet.
Okay, and then mine, before we move into closed session, is supervisor's comments. And I'm going to take my time to talk about, because so many people have been hitting me up, and so I'm using my time and my comments to talk about the tax bills that came in. Everybody got theirs, right? It's the worst day of the year for me when I get these. But I want to try my best to explain it, and then you guys can even ask any questions we can discuss. But the first thing you see when you get this is the amount that is due, okay? I own a couple of rental properties as well, so I'll use one of my rental properties in my own, here it is. My own is $7,700. When I first purchased my house, I was paying about $4,400. But this is the one that really gets me. East Main, right down here. I own a rental property, okay? Everybody knows this street. The houses are old, and it's probably the lowest as far as value in Collinsville. Maybe not the lowest, but right. I'm paying almost $4,000 in property tax on a house that I believe is probably worth maybe $100,000. Okay? So, anybody that's renting out there, anybody that says, just tax the rich, go after the big people, go after the landlord, your rent is going to be going up, all right, from the landlords, on average, I would say about 15%. That's because of property taxes. The rich guy or the landlord or whoever else is not going to just eat the cost. They can't do it. So guess why your rent is so high? Is because of property taxes. Now why? All right? Why are these increases so much? So, if you also notice, it has all the different all the different municipalities on here, what they pay. I want to point this out, and I want to make it very clear. And I ask that the audience listen because this is very important. The Collinsville tax rate is 0.116, okay? Let's see. It is the very lowest one out of everybody. So on this bill here, the $4,000, the Collinsville Township, I'm paying $63 out of that $4,000 to the Collinsville Township, right here, okay? Let's look here. The Mississippi Library District, I'm paying $92. So that's 57% higher to the library than the township. Let's look at Swick College. I'm paying for college 127% higher than the township. For Swick College, I'm paying $203 out of this tax bill. Okay? Again, schools go to most of it over 1,200% higher, or on this bill, $2,342 on this tax bill. Yet, everybody's in here trying to tell me that I'm doing something wrong, all right? All I'm here to do is try to not be a hypocrite, and when I run for office saying, I want to get you the best service at the lowest price possible. It has never, ever been about not liking somebody or getting this person or getting that person. That's all it has been about. It would have been so much easier for me to join the clique and just went along and just hired a bunch of people, friends, family, whatever. And nobody would have, But then I'm a hypocrite. We are the only municipality that has lowered our rate, not just the rate, but the dollar amount. And that is not easy to do. And look what we've done. So, why is this happening? Again, one reason is these taxing bodies look at the multiplier. A multiplier is the judgment of how close the assessments are to the actual sale price. Okay? So on our multiplier, it's horrible when this happens. Almost 9% multiplier. Everybody, including seniors with the senior freeze, gets the multiplier. So what the school district and a lot of taxing districts do, they'll call up the county assessor and say, hey, what's the multiplier looking like next year? Well, it's going to be 9%. Perfect. We're going to raise our tax levy 9%. So, for somebody like the school district who's taxing $100 million, 9% is $9 million. All right? 1 year, $9 million. Well, guess what? Last year's was 9% too, another $9 million. In just a few years, the school district is pulling from you over $30 million more. And it's not our population is going up. No. What happens when your taxes go up? Population is forced to leave or give up. Okay? And then as the population goes down, guess what? The burden gets higher on the people left. You look at cities with high tax rates and none of them are doing good. Okay? And then guess what? Then the employees, they need more money to pay these taxes. So we got to pay them more. All right? So if you work at, say, McDonald's, we got to pay you more just to live here. Well, guess what? The Happy Meal and stuff, now it's $15 for a value meal just to pay for the employees. It makes it unaffordable to live here. I want this to be a place where people want to come, that our population grows, okay? I want the streets to be nice. I want it to be safe. And so that is the tax bill. Again, taxing businesses and taxing the property owners or taxing anybody that has done well does not work because it will always go to you. I would love to say, yeah, let's go after Walmart. They make a lot of money. Let's just tax them another 5%, and that'll take care of everybody. All they're going to do is raise the price of bread and milk. Okay? And so, anyway, the other municipalities, I ask them to tighten their belt, make some tough decisions, look at what you need against what you want and what you can have, because just taxing to the multiplier is killing us. And I'm telling you, in 10 years, you're gonna come back and like, that guy, I didn't like him, but he was kind of right. So I'm doing what I swore that I would do, and to the best that I can do it. You guys have any comments on the tax? Any questions?
That was just your levy. There's Kathy's levies on there too, and you probably didn't pay much on that either.
No, right. I mean, I could mention we got Madison County is 0.3, so out of Madison County on that one, I can't, there's a bunch of them. And so because people ask me, well, you promised you'd lower my taxes. I'm like, this board did what we promised. We were the only ones that lowered, okay? But I cannot help if the cities or the library boards or the school districts raise theirs. And so the money comes from somewhere. If you want me to just give it out, okay, it's coming from somewhere. And what you may want, and you think it's something that you think is good, I'm pointing at anybody. If somebody says, I like this, well, maybe that gentleman doesn't like that. That's his money.
That's true.
So think about it before, you always criticize people. I'm the gatekeeper, and I'm trying to make sure that it is going to the cases that can actually help people. So anyway, so the next thing is a closed session, and to discuss litigation, personal, real estate holdings, and safety and security matters under the open meetings law, and no votes will occur in closed session. Do I have a motion?
I motion to go to closed session.
Okay. All right. Roll call on that.
Trustee Prosser? Trustee Sewell?
Yes.
Trustee Crowell?
Yes.
Trustee Ball?
Yeah.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes. All right. Anything else? Meeting